Hey, everybody, welcome into the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 181. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleyman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Leah the Hatless. So all three of you, I hope you're doing well. Want to apologize for last week. I had some computer hardware issues I had to sort out and take care of that kept me away from the content creation. So, but now I am back. And I just want to thank all of you for joining us that are watching here live and later on video on demand. So, or listening on audio on free podcast services. So, Burley, Carl, Leah, are you guys surviving through the summer heat here in Japan? It's like 35 degrees almost every day. So, how are you guys doing? Burley, I know you were talking about it before the beginning of the show. You were saying it was like 19 degrees. I would like to kill you for that. I want 19-degree weather, please.
Yeah, it was 19 degrees today. It's now gone up to 20.
Okay.
But the week prior, it was like 31 each day with 94% humidity. So I know what you've been going through, because like same like you, I'd go out for 2 minutes, I'd be just soaked in sweat. Like we went out for a concert, me and my dad, and we were under shade, and we were just dying from the heat because it was 32 out with 95% humidity that night. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Carl, is it about the same there for you?
I don't know what those temperatures mean, but it's 72 degrees here. And it is nice.
Typical Americans that don't know anything about Celsius or or centimeters or anything like that, like most of the world. But anyway, go ahead.
It sounds low. It sounds cold over there. You know?
It does not sound cold at all.
No.
For Carl, it would be it's 68 for where I'm at. It'd be 68 Fahrenheit. It's perfect out there with the breeze.
Yeah. At 35, that's close to 100. So yeah.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Every day. Yeah, and 90+% humidity. Yeah. So it's crazy, yeah. Leah, how about you over there in Madeira?
I mean, now the wind is kind of cool, so it balances out a bit. But all good in here. But I heard in Japan, you guys have been issued like a warning, like
earthquake. Yeah, we had an earthquake in the southern part of Japan, or actually, I'm sorry, the western part of Japan. There has been warnings of possibly another big one coming. So it puts everybody on edge, and all over the TV networks, you have all of these like experts talking about the big one. You know, we have to be careful, and we have to, get ready for it to come. So, but I mean, yeah, it's good to have the warnings and all, but to be all over TV and, making, people's fears just to, exponentiate.
Yeah, it must be like very stressful knowing that at any given moment.
Yeah, actually, the day after the big one in Western Japan, I think it was the day before yesterday, we had a small one here in Kanto. So it was about a level 3. So it is what it is, man. We just live day to day, and it could be 10 years from now, it could be tomorrow, we don't know. So Japanese people just deal with it the best we can. So but we got a great show for you, and we're going to deal with it the best we can. We're going to be talking about Gamescom. Of course, Xbox at Gamescom, as well as all of the other platforms. We're going to talk about what we're looking forward to seeing there, as well as a lot of the games that are going to be shown there. We're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking about, of course, the weekly news beat, all of the big news stories that came out last week in the world of gaming and game development. We're going to talk about that. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, actually. So, yeah. Burley of Burleyman Gaming. PS5 sales. 60 million milestone now. So My question to you is, so it's over 60 million now, and this is also, we have to factor in COVID. We also have to factor in the fact that there were hardware shortages, worldwide when it came to this. But my question to you, Burleyman Gaming, is: do you think? Of course, I want to hear your opinion on this sales number, but do you think that the PS5 could eventually catch the PS4 in sales in its lifetime?
It can, but my honest opinion, I don't think it's going to hit it. Where it has surprised me that we're now over 60. It's now up to like over 61.7
Yes, that's what it
million,
was.
and that's really high. I was surprised to see it had crossed that threshold in that amount. But we're how many years into this generation, and we're still getting games that are cross gen for both PS4 and PS5. So and I know people from certain people that are like here in Canada that are like, is it worth me dropping, because it's about $700 here with tax for a PS5, or am I just better to wait and get the PS6 in a few years, save my money towards that,
or get the
and
PS5 Pro, which
yeah,
there's rumblings that they could announce it at TGS, and might even show it off at TGS. I honestly, I don't think that's going to happen, but there are people saying that. So
maybe Gamescom.
Maybe, well, PlayStation doesn't have a footing at Gamescom, but
I mean, like opening night live, like a little show.
Yeah,
or they could, on all honesty, they just say, "Hey, we're having a hardware state of play on the week Gamescom happens," because as if they put that out and just show that, people will watch. It'll be all over social media, but I think with this, I just can't see it taking the number that the PS4 did. The PS4, when it was out and all that, it had a good price point. It had a lot more variety of the games, and it just was at a perfect time of people, because now we had for sure solidified what format we were in with Blu-ray. Because at the beginning of the 360 and PS3, there was the HD DVD versus Blu-ray. Right. So it made it easier to be like, because my dad bought a PS4. He's like, I'm going to play a few games, but I really want a blue.
Leah the Hatless. There are a lot of games coming later this year, and particularly third-party games for PlayStation. Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of them. Star Wars Outlaws, which is coming soon, is one of them. So is this a reason to buy a PS5 this coming holiday season?
Unless there's a really good package deal, probably not. Like, we need to keep in mind it's really expensive, and you can't really ignore the competition, which is the Switch. The Switch is a lot more accessible, has a lot more first party titles. It's kind of hard to justify a PlayStation 5, I think. And more people also don't have the space, like most of adults. Like, they're sharing their living space, and it's a console that is kind of stuck on the TV. It's big, it's in no way or shape or form really easy to fit in. So I don't know. I don't really see it going past 61. I'll be very surprised unless they have like a really special game lined up like next year that's gonna like a new The Last of Us or something like that that really pushes people to buy the console. I don't really see. And let's keep in mind the Switch 2 is coming like
next year.
next year, April,
Yeah.
it's dawning on. Like the focus will probably be on that, I think.
Turn-based Carl. Call of Duty will still be coming to PlayStation.
God,
Thank you, Xbox, for that. They're being very, very generous to
they're
continue
gracious.
to
They
let
take PlayStation fans' monies.
exactly. But will Call of Duty continue to push PS5 sales into the holiday season? What do you think?
I mean, it will just as any other game, but still, it's still on last gen, so it's not going to force anyone to have to buy a PS5 if you don't already have one.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there are other games that will. I mean, addressing what you asked, both Leah and Burley, we just saw the college football game coming back,
Yeah.
being next gen only.
Yeah.
It did push console sales. How large that is worldwide, probably not crazy, but in the U.S., it was a good push because that's where people care about that sport, right?
Yeah.
And you had to have a new console, so Series S and X, PS5, otherwise you can't play it. And this holiday, we're getting both Star Wars Outlaws and AC Shadows, which are next or current gen only.
Mm-hmm.
And these are big games. These are popular games. These are big IPs. These are wide audience games, right?
Yeah.
You should see. I think we will see a good hardware push this fall, this holiday, because of those games. Going into next year, you're going to get Grand Theft Auto 6, which absolutely will push hardware.
Yeah.
You won't be able to play that even on PC. So you have to buy a current gen console.
And it's looking like the fall that GTA 6 is going to be coming, most likely.
And then, as far as will they beat the PS4 sales? I think the reason they won't is simply because of price.
Yeah.
Like, and the greatest example I can give is I bought my PS4 in 2017, right, which is 4 years after it launched, which is where we are today now for PS5.
Yeah.
And Black Friday for $200. Right, that console launched for $500, and I bought it at Black Friday for $200 4 years later. This year, PS5 on Black Friday will not be $200. I guarantee you.
No.
It may be $450.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where you're at the tail end. Like, you're not going to get those like massive sales on the people buying real discounted units.
So I mean, I just want to, before I let you go, Leah, I just want to say, Jedi Survivor, also a last gen edition, is coming to that as well. So I'm just wondering, for the entire PS5 generation, we still might be getting the majority of games, even the newer games that come out, in last gen version as well. So I mean, for those holdouts that are still using the PS4, it's like, why buy a PS5 when I can just go right to the PS6 when it comes out, like in 2027 or something like that? Leah, your thoughts and whatever you were going to say.
I was thinking that the PS4 also sold a lot of units because of what Carl was saying. They were doing constant sales like in the last 2 years before the PS5 came up. And every time I went to a store, there was a sale on a PS4. The Pro, the Slim, the normal one. So that strategy probably helped to push the numbers up before the PS5. And that's something they're not doing currently for this generation console. So maybe the difference could come from that.
Leah the Hatless, I'll throw this one at you because you mentioned the Switch 2, or whatever it's going to be called. Do you think the Switch 2 could surpass in the future? I mean, this is just speculation, but do you think the Switch 2 could overtake the original Switch sales when things are all said and done?
I need to look at the console first, because that's the crux of the matter, isn't it?
Right. We haven't seen it
Because
yet.
if it's really similar to the Switch, unless they do a serious upgrade of software or like graphic a power to the console, which I don't see Nintendo doing because they really don't care about that. If the Switch 2 is really similar to the Switch 1 and there is no difference, it probably won't. But if they do a very good graphical update, maybe. If it's still portable, if it's still a good price point, they can aim somewhere in the sweet spot. Maybe like, oh, I can play the games of the PS5 on the Switch too, and it's way cheaper. Let's go. It's kind of all comes down to what path they're going to take. But we don't know because we had the Wii, which was really great and amazing. And then we had the Wii U, it was kind of this strange in between, but didn't sell as well. Like, we really need to see what the strategy is going to be for the Switch too.
Yeah. So PS5. Yeah, we shall see if we get the PS5 Pro. I'm still, skeptical about that, but a lot of people out there are saying it's coming, and we could get it at TGS or in a state of play or whatever. So yeah, we shall see.
I'm surprised Carl was the most optimistic for this one. Because me and Bert were like, no way. And Carl, let's go. Sales up.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead.
Forever.
Oh, yeah, Carl, you're not a PC guy? Come on, man. Yeah.
I mean, I do like PC.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, setting up all those drivers and everything. Yeah,
it's not as bad as it used to be.
No.
I do, every once in a while, you hear about people running into, like, nightmare issues, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But I think...
Like me last week with my PC.
Well, yeah. Right.
Yes.
Most cases, you run a game on PC and you play with some settings, and generally it's fine. You're not going to have a lot of huge issues, right? I think it's other people who are like super serious who are making the most noise, right? They spend the most money, the best stuff, and they get the most mad when their shit doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also of like certain games that are not optimized well, like Phasmophobia on PC. It's gotten better, but the problem is every time you update that game, you have to go back in and redo all your graphic settings because it will just change them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
that like, because when I used to make content on the game, it was like, okay, the game put out an update, now I gotta go back. I go look at the screenshot that I saved of all my graphic settings to go back and be like, turn this off, turn this on, set this to this. Welcome on in, Chardog.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Shouldn't Steam have like a function built in where it's like, it automatically saves your graphical settings per game somewhere, so that you can then recall that?
It would be nice, but it like Steam does its own good job, but it all depends. Like Phasmophobia was the case of it was made by one person, so it's a one-man kind of studio.
I mean, you'd still have to program and make that feature work within Steam.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next news story for the week. So, Callisto Protocol. So, this was a game that had a lot of potential to it. I mean, it was created by those that had created Dead Space, and the actual maker, Glenn Schofield, the Callisto Protocol director, he was talking in an interview with Dan Allen Gaming via PC Games In about the fact that he was basically given a verbal agreement to having a few more months of development time for this game. And then all of a sudden they turned around and told him, no, it's got to be out by the end of December of 2022. So, I mean, now he has already left Striking Distance Games. But Glenn Schofield basically saying that Crafton had given him this, verbal agreement about having more development time. And he goes on to mention in the interview about how 2021 was just a terrible year for development, one of the worst years ever in his development career because of all of the people that were lost. COVID had a lot to do with it as well, but a lot of people jumped ship and left the studio. But my question to you guys, and I guess I'll throw it to you first, turn-based Carl. Would this have made any difference in the game? Because we had the Dead Space remake come out at around the same time. Uh, 3 months more of, or 4 months more of development would have really have made much of a difference for this game. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I didn't play this game, so I can't speak to it that way. But what I will say is that, barring some like disastrous bugs, right, situation, having it come out later and fixing that, fixing small things, which this game definitely had issues and bugs across the different versions that affected people's, opinion of it. I still don't think that changes its fortune in any like massive way, right? Like Cyberpunk is the classic example of like, yeah, the last gen versions of those games like really hurt the people's view of that game. But in this case of this game, I think it's just the content of the game itself, what it offers, how it's not really as good and doesn't really do anything apparently that amazing or unique compared to Dead Space and the over focus on the melee stuff. I mean, I think people just didn't like what they made.
Burley, your thoughts? Burley, a Burleyman game?
Yeah, as a person that has played this game,
Yes.
yeah,
And me, I have played this as well. Yes.
I played it after, like, I got it a few weeks after the game came out because I got it as a birthday gift or Christmas gift. I can't remember what it was. This was I played it after like the first couple of patches. That helps a few things, but this game was just poorly designed. So like, even you could have given it a few months, you're still not going to get, it wouldn't fix a lot of this, because like there's the dodge mechanic. If you know what you're doing, left, right, left, right, left, right, you can be good enough to not get hit. But it's like using guns in the game, it teaches you not to use your guns. It's all about the melee baton, and you want to upgrade that. Spend your upgrade points in that for the first while of the game, because that's what you're going to be using. And then you want to put the upgrade points your gun for the last two bosses. But like, you can tell this game had trouble development, because as you're going through it, they just recycle one boss like 3 times. And all that is different is, it has 2 extra units of health this time. It was just like, it was an interesting design game that I get what they were trying to go for. It could have been really good if they had a lot of time and not had COVID. But here's the thing here, and you take this in a lot of fields. Like, you have to take this in my profession. I used to also work, like, I worked at a law firm for 5 years. Get everything in writing.
Yes,
you cannot trust verbal shit, especially with something like that, being like, you got the time to get this out. No, you get this shit in writing, because you know what? You don't, it's going to come back and bite you on the ass. Every time that I haven't gotten something on writing, it's come back to bite me in the ass.
Yeah. I guess I should start doing that with you guys, getting everything in writing instead of verbally. Yeah. Leah, your thoughts? Would this have made any difference? And have you played any of this game or the DLC? Because the DLC is out as well. So.
My first point was going to be exactly that. That's a corporate lesson. You get everything on writing. You don't take verbal. I have not played Callisto, but I think as game director, he should have just considered the initial deadline, right? Because with COVID, things change very rapidly. We really don't know what's going on. No one knew, like, in any profession whatsoever. So he should have really planned for that original deadline. So I don't know if this comes with, okay, it's the fault of the company, or is it the director that really couldn't get things right? and Burley was talking about all the issues that the game had, and maybe this was just a poor experience in development. Like it was kind of doomed from the start. Like they really couldn't get the vision executed. And sometimes it's better to just accept that and say, okay, this was not as it was planned. Things didn't work out,
Yeah, just
and it's kind of what it is. Just accept, right?
I'm just interested. Why did this come out now? I mean, why wasn't this
Yeah.
talked about like a month after the game was released or something? I mean, or to deflect the attention that was coming, the negative publicity that was coming to it. I mean, and then you had, like I said, you had the Dead Space remake that came out, and of course, Glenn Schofield he's he was pretty much the mastermind behind Dead Space. So yeah, probably kind of a little bit of being upset about how well that was doing compared to the newest game that he was working on. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I mean,
maybe.
how it came out now, it's like, why didn't it come out, much earlier? So,
Well, you said he left striking distance, so he probably was under NDA. Couldn't
yeah,
say
that's
stuff.
that's a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, probably. Yeah, non-disclosure agreements, fun stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. All right. So next up, so that's all for Callisto Protocol. So next up, we're going to talk about Dragon Age: The Veilguard. So a lot of you are probably really, looking forward to playing, Dragon Age: The Veilguard when it comes out, but you're not. And maybe this isn't so much of a big deal. I'm going to get your thoughts on this, but the Veilguard won't let you control your companion. So in previous Dragon Age games, you were able to only control, what was it? Well, you were able to control two companions, right? I think it was Burley. Yeah,
You could bring two companions with you.
right,
You could control them. It preferred you to go to your main character, but like if your main character died in battle, it would auto switch you.
right.
But you could control them, but you could also do like using the R1 or RB on the Xbox controller and set commands for them to
Mm-hmm.
do.
Right, right. So anyway, this is over from Games Radar. So Dragon Age: The Veilguard won't let players have full control over their companions, but BioWare says that's because there's so much to do that it doesn't want you to be overwhelmed. So speaking to Edge Magazine, game director Kareem Bush explained why Dragon Age: The Veilguard is dropping the party-controlled formula of previous games, even as it drops your companion count from 3 to 2. So on the experimental side, quote on the experimental side, we wanted you to feel like you were a rook. End quote. Bush explained. Quote: You're in this world. You're really focused on your actions. We wanted the companions to feel like they, as fully realized characters, are in control of their own actions. They make their own decisions. End quote. So it goes on, and even though you're not going to have full control over your characters, you will still be able to shape some of their movements in combat. But the gist of this is that it is, there's so much going on that you're probably not going to, especially an average gamer or even the more experienced gamers will just be overwhelmed with all of this. So, turn-based Carl, how do you feel about them not implementing this, and should they make it at least an option for players to be able to control these characters?
Well, you can't really just make it an option because that's a lot of work to,
Mm-hmm.
to actually let you control these different characters. You're going to have different moves, different attacks,
Mm-hmm.
because it's an action game, right? And I like this. Now, I didn't play the other Dragon Ages, so I can't. I don't want to be the guy who. I'm sure there's people who love the franchise and like they don't want it to change. They want it to be a specific way, right? But I hear it and I look at it like Mass Effect, where you create your one character, you play as your one character, and then you can command your teammates, right? And you can level them up and stuff. You can customize them, but you can't directly control them. But you can tell them go here or go there, attack this guy, use his ability on that guy. And I like that kind of gameplay. I think it's fun. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
And really, when it comes to action RPGs, the reason I like Western action RPGs and not Japanese action RPGs is really because of this. Like, this is a true action game where it's designed for you to play as this specific character. So the game is built from the ground up for you to play as this character with these type of moves and these type of things. And it's built, I would mostly, if it's a really good game, right? Mm-hmm. It's built meticulously and it works really, really well because of that. Whereas in a lot of the Japanese action RPG games where you can play as like all the characters, you can switch between them.
Right.
It's just like the sort of wild. There becomes a genericness to how your characters play, because if they let you play multiple characters, there has to be some sort of similar control scheme mechanics, or else you're building essentially multiple games, right?
Yeah.
This is why Avengers, the characters felt somewhat samey. Because you can't build completely different types of action gameplay into a video game without putting tons and tons of time and effort into that. In effect, it's going to feel like building two games at once.
Burlyman Gaming, you are, you're a tech nerd. So how do you feel about not being able to control these companions? Is this something that you believe that as a hardcore gamer you would have been able to manage?
I would have been able to manage. I would have been able to manage, but I can understand them doing this. They're doing some different things with this. They're simplifying in certain areas, which I know some people, they hear that, oh my God, it's getting oversimplified. But if they're doing this to this level and they said like no open worlds and that, and they're just making areas you're going to and levels and stuff like that, it means they're putting time and effort into the design of these areas and the mechanics. So I'm hoping this means they're really putting their time in the design to make things feel good. Like Carl said, you're putting all this time into making your character, making the backstory and all this and that.
Right.
So I'm really hoping with them putting all that kind of effort, and that was stuff you did in the first Dragon Age. With Origins, you would make your backstory and all this and that, and you'd play through your intro for your backstory for the first hour to 2 hours, and some of the backstories had more stuff going on than the others, obviously. So I'm giving faith to BioWare on this because they have done it in previous games. I know BioWare hasn't been the same as of lately, but this I'm not immediately hearing this stuff and being like, oh God, I'm turned off. It's like, okay, they're doing this. They've got to have good reasons.
Yeah.
Hopefully this comes out well. Like I'm very much interested in this game, and this is a game we're supposed to get info this month and the release this month to find out the release date for this game.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even in the article, they were saying, even in the game testing, it's like it's just too much to try to control these other characters. It's just But Leah, your thoughts on this?
I mean, I can understand why some players may not like it, depending on your strategy and how you play the game. Like, not being able to control the other teammates kind of creates this instability. I guess it's not really the word, but it becomes a bit unpredictable what they're gonna do. And if you could control them, you kind of do a bit of damage control as it goes. And if you can't, like, they're just gonna act on their own, and you kind of have to figure out how to manage. So the learning curve could be bigger, but it could also make for a fun and new experience, since this is a game that already has previous games released. So we'll wait and see. I kind of prefer this style of just controlling one character and just letting the others just go along. But we'll see. Maybe it will please everyone in the end.
So what kind of release date are we going to get? What are your predictions, Burley?
I'm thinking November.
Oh wow!
October is quite crowded. September is not as bad. But I just have a feeling this is going to be the November game, like middle November, like November 15th.
Interesting. Carl, your thoughts? When do you think we'll get it?
Oh, it's tough. It is crowded in October. That is true. Yeah, I mean, I could say September possibly, but we're close to that, so it's getting a little bit late to announce that. So yeah, November seems pretty good. We don't have. I know in our stories here, but I guess we're not going to talk about Avowed being officially delayed.
Well, we were going to talk about that during the Gamescom
Okay.
information.
So I guess we'll talk about more later, but I think the release date of this game and this game's announcement in general for this year plays a large part in that because it is a big fantasy RPG, right? And it's a crowded area, and if you didn't, that game's coming out in a time where we know there's a lot of other RPGs around, and this is a much bigger IP and it's multi-platform than Avowed. So like, I look at that as a big reason as to why we can't really put it out in this time frame. We don't want it to get lost. There's a little potential for that.
Leah, what's your prediction for a release date on the new Dragon?
I'm gonna say early December. I think it's gonna be a holiday title.
Oh wow,
that's my guess.
Oh, wow.
Because like holidays, people have more time. It's a big game. You can offer to a special someone. So I know.
Yeah. My prediction: it's going to come out the same day as Call of Duty. Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Oh.
No way. No way.
Oh,
No
When
way.
is
you know what? It could.
It could, but it won't. I mean, it's any reasonable developer and studio would probably that would be their death knell. But
that's okay. October 25th.
I think so.
I think either November or December. I think it's going to get pushed back. So.
What's late September? I feel like maybe
Zelda is late September.
So that's fine. You can go up and Zelda. It's a completely different audience. You can't play that on Switch, so I can't play this game on there. And Zelda
it
won't
can't
be
go
on
against the big heavy hitter at the beginning of September, Astrobot.
You can go against that too. Yeah, that's fine. Completely.
Hey, I completely agree. I completely agree with Burley. That's going to be great on PlayStation.
September looks like a good place for it.
But it's like you're announcing it way too late if you're going to put it in September. I would.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you know what you're going to be playing in September though, because it comes out right at the end of August is Star Wars Outlaws. Yeah, a lot of people are going to be playing that. So
yeah, it's like you can go like mid-September, later September.
Yeah,
I think you could still do it. It's just a matter of like, do they want to? Well, I guess again, Gamescom, right? Like 20th, Opening Night Live is the 20th.
Yeah,
we should get dates for things there, right? Like if you have games coming out this year that don't have dates, I think that's where you should be hitting.
Yeah, well, especially third party stuff. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, get some release dates and stuff like that. Well, let's go ahead and move on, and let's speculate about what Sega has up their sleeves. So so Sega says its Gamescom lineup includes an unannounced game. So what could that be? So we know that we're going to get the Sonic, Sonic X, and Generations, with we're going to get Metaphor ReFantazio as well. So we know those two games are going to be at Gamescom, and they're going to be from Sega. So the question is, what could this unannounced game be? Could it be Valkyria Chronicles? Probably not.
I mean, I would love to see more of that.
Yeah. Could it be another, when it comes to Atlas? Could it be the Persona, like a game that they were talking about, kind of the what is it? The party game for Persona. It could
Persona
be that.
5 volleyball.
I mean,
Yeah, there you
They
go.
But-
haven't done that spin-off
No.
yet.
No.
So.
Burley, you
My-
forgot a key word to that. Beach.
Yeah. So
Persona 7 Chardon.
I
We
don't
haven't even
think
got 6.
I don't think it's going to be. We already know the Persona 6 is coming, so I don't think we're going to get any information on that yet. But could it be the next Judgment game? I mean,
Kaito's Revenge?
it won't be
Could be.
called Kaido's Revenge, and you know that, Burley. But
You know, if it does get called that, I know you're just going to turn and look at me and be like, Burley,
Yeah.
why did you give them that idea?
exactly, yeah.
So, all right, but we got to get serious about this. All right, the two things. You have
Let's
to
get
remember.
serious, Carl.
The two things you got to remember about what this game is: unannounced,
Mhm.
okay, and playable at the show. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's not going to be like a Judgment game, right? They're not going to suddenly be like, "Hey, here's a new Judgment game, and it's playable right now." Like that doesn't happen.
No.
Right? So it could be like Yakuza Kiwami 3, right? That's a possibility.
But
Yeah,
even
but-
that wouldn't be playable.
Why not? I mean, it's just a remaster sort of like thing. You could totally have that playable. Because it's not a new game really. So, but yeah, like what else falls into that idea? Like, is the Jet Set Radio game announced officially? I know
Yeah,
that's, like,
they've
sort of-
announced that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They've
so
announced
it's not
announced that and Crazy Taxi,
Crazy
and
Taxi.
their couple other other franchises.
Unless they mean by unannounced, like doesn't have an officially announced title, right? Because we don't know what those games are actually titled.
Mhm.
But again, I don't know if that's accurate.
Could it be like an old game that they're like remastering or something like that?
Yeah, I mean,
Such
that's why I
as-
said,
such
that's why I
as-
said Yakuza Kiwami
Yeah.
3. Like that's
Yeah.
that's an old, it's a remaster, right?
Because like it could be it. Because like they don't need to create a new game or anything like that. They just have to like report it to a new engine and release it. Because that's something that's becoming very popular, right? You have all these games that came out like ages ago and are being remade.
In case in
Yeah.
point with what's getting showed right here, Sonic Generations.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the
exactly.
game back on the PS3
That's
360, and
2011. Yeah, 2011. Yeah.
I was in college.
Yeah.
I remember picking this up after my exams. I was.
Yeah. So
all right.
it shows yeah.
Could be
younglings in here, yeah.
the SMT, 3 and 4 remaster, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's another, like I joked with Persona 5 volleyball, but like I wouldn't be surprised we get another Persona 5 spin-off game, or that we know, like there was that mobile game that just got announced.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a mobile.
Well, the
yeah,
mobile game is, you mean like Phantom X?
I forget what it's called. It
Yeah,
could
I
have
mean,
been
does
called
that count? Could that count if you say it's unannounced for other regions, right? It's only in China, right?
Yeah.
But maybe, yeah.
Do we have like a new version of like the original Persona? Like the first one?
No,
Not for 1 and 2. 1 and 2 have not been ported. Those are still like PS1 and PS2. I think Persona 2.
Yeah.
Like there was the PSP ports.
Yeah, they're real old. Yeah.
back in the day. But those ones, like people have said, if you're gonna redo those, like if you're gonna port those, you need to redo them, because like it's not like
it's a lot of
Persona
work.
3 where you could port that and it's still playable. And nowadays those ones are a little more archaic.
I would say if they're gonna just technically just port those games, then it could be playable, right? Like if they're gonna be like, yeah, here's Persona 1 and 2 ports, basically straight up like the best versions of the original game without any real big enhancements, just like quality of life. Sure, that's possible.
Yeah.
Well, and now I'm getting threatened by Chardog here in the chat. Is one of my members of my community. He says in my own Discord, he posted this. He posted some of this in the chat here. If we don't get Yakuza Kiwami 3, he's going to make me do a lot of shots. Please, Sega, for the love of God, just put, even if it's a static image of Kiwami 3, please do it.
Yes.
Burley, you're going to be playing the new Sonic or the Sonic remake, right?
Eventually, I don't actually have that pre-ordered because just the cost, but I did pre-order Metaphor Fantasio, so I already have that pre-ordered and added to my Steam library. So you will get that extra take when the game does come out. I'm interested on the Sonic Shadow thing. It's just I don't feel like spending the exorbitant cost for a game that they're adding a little bit of content. That was a $40 game back in the day for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
Carl, you were going to say something?
Oh no, I was going to say I have the physical like collector's edition pre-ordered for Metaphor.
I see.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's expensive. But you know what? I don't buy a lot of games. It's basically like my birthday present. Close to
nice.
It's the month before, but whatever. Close enough.
It counts. That's
right.
I mean, Fubu gave me Hogwarts Legacy as my birthday present, and it came out in February, and my birthday is in June. So you're golden, Carl.
Nice. I love that game. Man, that was a good game.
Yes, it was.
You know, we don't have the story about WB either. How they said that, like, we're looking to get people to invest in our studios and possibly sell them.
Yeah. Okay, so it's time to get to the topic of the show. But before we do that, I just want to get your guys' thoughts, and especially yours, Turn-Based Carl, when it comes to a couple of weeks ago, the Xbox 360 games, the storefront closed up. I wanted to get your thoughts on that and your memories from that 360 era that has now been closed down.
I'm not the guy really for that type of thing because I just don't care when like 2-generation old system stores shut down. Like I'm long gone. I'm done. Like I'm an early adopter. I buy the new system this day one. Like I don't really go back very much.
Yeah, like you bought the PlayStation 5, right? Yeah.
No, but Xbox. Like I bought Xbox One day one. I bought Xbox Series X day one.
Right. Yeah, because you're predominantly Xbox platform.
Yeah, but if I was a PlayStation guy, I would have bought those day one too. Like I don't care about when the PS3 store shuts down or the PSP or Vita or whatever, Nintendo Wii and whatever. I don't care about these things because
so since you're day one, are you gonna buy God of War on PC Ragnarok DC on PC day one?
No, that's not a console. I'm talking about consoles. But games too, depending if I'm really interested. But yeah, it's like, I loved the 360. It was a great generation. Actually, I did not buy 360 day one. Because I was like finishing. Did I finish college that year? Yeah, and I wasn't really able. That was like my last year of college, and I wasn't really playing a lot of games. I didn't have time, or I don't remember exactly when it came out, but I didn't buy it until much later. But it was an incredible generation. Oh yeah. Especially considering if you're an Xbox fan. But I guess because prior to that, like I guess that's the generation that sort of cemented people as Xbox fans. So maybe that's why there's for a lot of people, it has a big place in their heart. It is also the first generation of like full digital, like you can just buy the games digitally. You can install them on your hard drive and play them directly off your hard drive.
Right.
So there is that factor to it, but I never really did that. Like I think I have 0 digital purchases on Xbox 360. I think I installed, like you were able to install your disc games, I think, at a certain point.
Later on.
And I did some of that, but like I didn't really play with it that way. The digital store didn't mean anything to me. I didn't buy Summer of Arcade stuff. I didn't buy any Xbox Arcade stuff. Like I just didn't play games like that. I was a console. I played AAA games. Like indies weren't really a thing back then. They started to become a thing in the 360 era on console. Yeah, and I just wasn't really into them. So
yeah.
Right. Carlos like good riddance. Next.
Yeah. Stop crying, people. Okay?
Out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah, man. Just
Yes.
buy it. There's like hundreds of games coming out like every year,
Right.
and you're crying over these little ones I can't buy anymore on this digital storefront that nobody uses.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. The issue of game preservation and things like that also come up. But
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah.
It's a deal.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. So the topic of the show. So Xbox at Gamescom, as well as the other platforms that are going to be at Gamescom. And of course, yeah, from the 20th, we've got the opening night live. And then the 21st through the 25th is Gamescom. And we'll be covering a lot of stuff that comes from that. So stay tuned for our coverage of those events and things that happen there. But yeah, Cologne, Germany. So every year, it's like pretty much the biggest gaming event. Xbox, they've got a big presence there. PlayStation, they're not going to show up. PlayStation's going to be big at TGS. They're kind of holding off for that. Nintendo is Nintendo. They do their own thing. They're not having much of a presence there either. So this is Xbox's show to lose. I mean, this is going to be a big event for Xbox. My question to you, Carl, throw it to you one more time. Is Xbox going to be doing a developer direct in conjunction with Gamescom, or that's not something that they're doing?
No, they aren't. They're going to do live streams.
Live streams, on the floor, with developers.
They did this the previous Gamescoms, and they're interesting. Yeah. So, if you like the Xbox games and you're interested in hearing from developers or people directly who have played these games, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be talking to people, discussing features and actual in-depth stuff about the video games. And they are. I've watched a few of them from the previous year, and I found them really interesting. Like there was, I just remember the Towerborn one. Hearing a lot about that, which is going to be there again, made me really interested in that game. But I think there's multiple days of the streams again. It's not it's not like what they do for TGS where they usually just do like a live stream with some announcements. Like I don't expect any real announcements here. Maybe release dates, but that could be tied to opening night live or just in general an announcement they make at some point at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is, especially on the Xbox side of things, they're going to have like 50 plus games available to play. But what's interesting here is I think Towerborn, Forza Horizon 5, Flight Simulator, Aura History Untold, and Age of Mythology. Those are really the only games pretty much that are going to be hands-on from Xbox Game Studios. I mean, a lot of the others like Indie Jones, just basically theater presentations and photo ops that you're going to be able to do. You're not going to have any kind of hands-on gameplay with any of those. So I'm a little surprised at that. And then we got the announcement, of course. They were talking about Avowed is going to be pushed into 2025. I mean, good on them for pushing it back and giving the developers more time to polish it up and all. But I mean, Burleman Gaming, what are your thoughts on this? And of Xbox's presence there, and what are you expecting from them?
I'm expecting them to just say, we fold, we're going to merge with PlayStation. Come on, I had to go for something crazy.
Like Indiana Jones, PlayStation 5, December.
Yes.
Now,
will it be December? Will it be December? I'm still thinking it could be pushed into 2025. I don't think.
Well,
it's
so that I highly doubt that because this graphic right here, right? Like them pushing back Avowed and on this graphic, and then putting this graphic out and putting these other games to 2024. Like you think they would know already, right? Like
Yeah.
I think they seem like they're pretty solid on these games are 2024.
Well, they seem solid. Remember the whole thing with Starfield originally. They had that one date, and then they realized, okay, we need to push it back.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
Indiana Jones, I have a feeling with Gamescom, we're going to find out right then and there. Is this going to be 2024 or is this going to be 2025? And we'll see on that. I could see it getting pushed back to 2025. Like we're getting the rumors that this is going to be a first week in December game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a feeling if it was going to come, like if like them pushing Avowed showed a lot, and like I get what you're saying by them showing, posting out this graphic here and saying to be announced 2024. So there is still a good chance it will come this year.
And with the partner studios, Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl. I mean, that's that's been delayed many times. That's going to be hands-on. That'll be there.
That
Star
got
Wars
delayed again, and I think that affects dates too, right? So it's still this year, but they have a new date.
Yeah, that'll be hands-on. Star Wars Outlaws, that's hands-on. But what's interesting, Assassin's Creed Shadows is not on this list and not hands-on. So, which is interesting, but.
That's weird.
So, and then a lot of the indie selects from ID at Xbox, Squirrel with a Gun, The Alters, Winterboro, a bunch of games that are going to be hand-on. Like I said, hands-on. Like I said, like over 50 games are going to be, playable there. So
replaced. It's there, playable.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, Bethesda, just hands-on. The Elder Scrolls Online Gold Rush will be playable there.
And Fallout 76.
Fallout 76 Milepost Zero, yeah. So,
but I think that Indiana Jones theater presentation, you're getting a release date.
Maybe, yeah.
And I agree with Carl. You're getting a release date for Indiana Jones here.
But will Opening Night Live announce it though?
It could if they decide to put anything there. I don't know who they are. We'll see. They have their own, live streams they're going to do. So who knows? But Burley, let's say Indy does get delayed, right, to 2025. But Avowed is February 18th. So where the hell is Indy?
You maybe get it for the summer.
Oh God, that's so far away. That's like a huge delay.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Like if they need the delay, they need the delay. Like it still seems so weird to me that this game, they're like, oh yeah, it's coming this year. We're at August now. We're almost at the middle of August. We have no idea. It's like, are they just getting a dartboard in the office and just getting a bunch of darts and being like, okay, we're just gonna throw darts at dates and whoever.
It's funny, but I think it's the exact opposite. I think it's like there's so many games. We don't know everything's release dates. We don't want to put it out somewhere where it's going to be directly competing against something else big. Because they're I think at this point, and the Avowed delay is a big part of that. Like it shows that they're very cognizant of like making sure these games have space to breathe. And they themselves, as a first party, have way too many things to release. And obviously, like the beginning of this year, they didn't put out a lot, right? But going into the future, this is going to be a problem. And it seems like they are taking now the time to spread these out and push these things around. And, people say that Nintendo does this and everybody applauds them for doing it. So, I think we should do the same for here and holding Avowed off until a time where it makes more sense till it can get more time on its own. If Indie's in December, what's the bad side about that? There's very little games that really release in December. I don't know. I don't think that people should be, or publishers should not be using December. At least late December, it doesn't make sense, but early December makes sense, right?
Yeah. I think this year would be a prime example of when to put a game out in December because PlayStation doesn't have that big, huge mega release this year for the holiday season.
Hold on. Yeah. They do in September.
Okay.
Astro Bot.
But I'm not talking about September, Burley. I'm talking about December, when everybody's probably on PlayStation has already played Astro Bot over 100 hours by then. So
put out
Lego Horizon Adventures.
Put out
Yeah.
Towerborn on the same day as Astrobot, so it can beat that crappy game.
You check your deliveries on that, Carl.
Okay, let's get Leah's opinions on Leah the Hatless.
Yeah,
Yes, your
I was
opinions on
just
Xbox at Gamescom, and then we'll shift over to the other platforms. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking, it's like, oh, they don't want to compete with the other games that are coming up. But like, is Indiana Jones really gonna tear apart Flight Simulator 2024 if it's comes in November? Like, they're two different crowds. But I agree with Spurley because it is kind of weird that we only had that cinematic trailer and then nothing else came out. So usually cinematic means there's still a lot to do. So it is a way more probable that it's going to be pushed to 2025. I will say if it does get pushed, it may come around like April, May. Like it is a good like 6 months, 9 months till they can wrap things up. But yeah, they do have a great lineup for Gamescom. A lot of different and interesting games. So
Yeah.
I think wish I was there to kind of try some of these games.
Before I close this list of the announced first party Xbox games, I just want to say Fable 2025.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think that's 2026. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think Fable's going to come out next year. Yeah, it's
it's been in development for a very long time, and they just announced also that they have another studio now. Did you hear that? The third for Playground Games.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been in development for a very long time.
As well.
Yeah, it's just that we haven't really seen much gameplay of it yet at all. So
yeah, that's true, but they seem to be holding all that stuff close to the vest for everything. I mean, like the Starfield big gameplay reveal wasn't till when? It was like
I think it was the summer. It
was the summer.
Thing.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Before it came out, so like they're not. They don't seem to want to put that stuff out there too early because they want it. Because
it'll be picked apart by the media and everything. So
I mean, I think Halo Infinite was the thing that really scared them off doing that too early.
Yeah,
and they ended up having to delay that. Yeah.
So we shall see.
Yep.
But
the other thing about the dates, right, is you can't forget that they're partnerships, right? Like, I don't know, like the marketing partnership. I'm pretty sure they probably do have marketing partnerships, but like, AC Shadows and Dragon Age and Star Wars Outlaws showed up at Xbox showcases. And then you got Metaphor Fantasio in October, which was also Game Pass, that we know that's heavily marketing for Xbox. I'm sure there's a few others, right? It's like you gotta avoid all of those things as well as on top of your own first party games when you're looking at these dates. And I know people don't want to see December also because like, oh, I guess that means Indie won't get Game Awards, but like the Game Awards doesn't matter. Like it really, really doesn't. Like if you're talking about like from a publisher perspective, like especially someone like Microsoft and Activision too, like and Bethesda, like those publishers, like it's about the money it's going to make, and like being able to win awards isn't necessarily going to make you more money or less money. Like it could possibly, if you win Game of the Year, but like that's not, it's one game, right, that wins Game of the Year. You're probably not going to be it. Yeah. So like, who really, really cares that much about putting it, making sure it gets there? We all like to see it eligible, right? But like from a business perspective, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to see it there because I'm planning to be there this year live at the actual Game Awards, so it'd be nice to see it there. But I do get your point. For me, I just don't like it in December just because like it is the holiday time. I'm ramping down. I'm not because like I'm not only playing the game as a gamer. I'm also a content creator because I'd be making stuff for the arena, but also be making stuff for me on my own streaming the game and stuff like that. It's just be like trying to do that with like figuring out, okay, I can only stream this much in December because I got a vacation trip and all that. So it's like just having a lot less time with the game.
Yeah. I just think it wouldn't be pushed into early 2025 because that's when Avowed is supposed to come out. So I think,
I mean, you probably got to think like last week November, first week of December, right?
Yeah,
it's the latest you can go. Yeah, and that's also because like it's holidays, it's vacation times, it's you're gonna have bugs and things coming out. You want to drop this game, and then everybody's on vacation while you're in trouble,
right? So. Anyway, guys, PlayStation doesn't have a presence, but they'll probably opening night live will probably be showing a lot of stuff. They'll probably show Astrobot, of course. What's coming with that. They'll be showing a bunch of other stuff, and we'll get to
Lego Horizon.
We'll get to what we think could be shown off there. But Burleman Gaming on the Nintendo side of things, what kind of Pokemon stuff could we get at Gamescom? Yeah.
Well, we announced early this year Pokemon's Legend ZA, and we're getting to, and that is this coming next year. Right. So I am imagining we're actually going to see a little bit of stuff because all we got really was here is a mock-up of like a title screen and showing this is being set in the Kalos region. For anyone that does not know, that is in Pokemon X and Y region, 6th generation. So I'm curious to see because I loved Legends Arceus, and that came when that came out a few years ago, and they just dropped that. They dropped that, remember, at the end of January. Yeah. It was just a few weeks before Horizon, and it was like that was just such a great game. It was held back because of the limitations of the Switch and because Game Freak, they did a lot of different things, but it was such a cool change to the Pokemon formula. So I imagine we're going to get stuff there. I'm sure they'll show off some other Pokemon spin-off games, some puzzle games, and other updates to some of the mobile because I know they've been really pushing Pokemon Sleep they've been really pushing that mobile game, so they'll probably have some small update for that in Cafe.
Yeah. So good stuff. Nintendo, of course, not going to be there, but the third party stuff will be. As for PlayStation, but now let's get into a little bit about our thoughts and what we would like to see. Opening night live usually has a lot of the new announcements. So between opening night live and the Game Awards, when it comes to big announcements, I don't know if opening night live at Gamescom this year is going to have really too many big new game surprises, which usually comes at the Game Awards. But I'm really hoping to get a first look at the new Tomb Raider. I would really like to see the new Tomb Raider game. And will Camilla Luddington be back as the voice of Lara? Will we still have the same looking Lara as from the last 3 games? I'm really excited. I don't think we'll probably get it. I'm just hoping that we do, but that's something. And then also more of a big look for what I want to see of Monster Hunter Wilds. And that's going to be at Gamescom for sure. I want to see what else they're going to show of that. Tomb Raider, that's something that I want to see a first look at. So how about you guys, a first look at a potential new game, like a world premiere or something like that? What do you guys think we might see? Turn-based Carl, what do you think?
I still want to see Wonder Woman, but I don't really have hopes of that showing up yet.
Yeah.
Hard to judge, The bigger stuff's probably going to get saved for the Game Awards.
Burley, what do you think?
Yeah, see this I've been scratching my head on because I'm trying to think of games that we haven't really seen anything and that we've just heard. Like Pokemon ZA is the one I'm gonna go with, just because I know most likely that is something we're going to be shown, and that is something as I said earlier, I'm looking forward to.
Leah?
I'm aiming at Konami. I'm hoping Silent Hills, like with the release of Silent Hills 2, maybe something else, maybe a little look, maybe something Resident Evil, I don't know, maybe. There have been some leaks about what 9 is gonna be about, so maybe they are prepping something for Gamescom. So my bet is on the survival horror genre. I
Either
think
that
we
or
might get something
either
good.
that or Tokyo Game Show. I mean, TGS probably. Yeah,
Yeah.
see that, but yeah.
Resident Evil 5 remake.
Well, that would be the next one on the list, yeah, because 4
Yeah.
is been done. So
Well, you never know. They could do like people were speculating. Will they go back and do Zero remake?
And Code Veronica. Yeah.
Now they're saying 9 is next. And they're gonna bring back Claire, Leon, and like everyone back. That's
how
kind of
about
where the
at
storyline's coming.
at opening night live, another, well, we'll get a first look of gameplay at GTA 6.
Oh,
No, they'll do that on the
No.
road. No.
That'll be Game Awards. I think
Probably,
if you're gonna see GTA 6, it's Game Awards.
yeah. And I don't know if you guys have seen the latest or the Borderlands film. I've been hearing some terrible things about the Borderlands film. But could we get a Borderlands 4 announcement? I mean, probably not the best time to put out an announcement for a new Borderlands game with the negative publicity that the Borderlands
I
film
mean
has been getting. But yeah,
that's probably the best time because you're like, oh, forget about the movie. We have a new game coming along. Maybe
Well,
to
I
kind of
wouldn't be
distract.
surprised if we get some tease of a Borderlands, because like
it's been a
it
long
has been
time. Yeah.
it's been a while, but it's also like the game sales have spiked up a bit, especially the last one, Tiny Tina's Adventure.
Yeah.
That one really did well, so I wouldn't be surprised, even if it's not a big full game, a small mini another Tiny Tina game, just to kind of get something out while they're working. I'm sure they're already in development for Borderlands 4, because those games just print money for 2K.
Here you go, Burley. I'll bet you a case of spiritual opium that this is not going to happen. But at the opening night live, the very first tease for Horizon 3.
I was thinking
Wow.
maybe the game from the creator of Bioshock could come along.
Judas?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
maybe. No. Because it has been announced, we had the trailer kind of. Maybe we're gonna delve a bit more into the game.
Turn-based Carl, when it comes to the Gamescom event for Xbox, could we get any more information about the new Gears game that was teased and had that short video of, recently?
I doubt it. I feel like they'll save anything significant for their own event or game. The Game Awards.
Yeah.
This event. As far as I'm trying to remember the opening night live, like it has had like significant things, but I don't know if it's had like major stuff. So
Yeah, well, and Summer Game Fest hasn't been too far off. So I mean, what other announcements could they really have? That hasn't already been shown at Summer Game Fest.
yeah, they showed a lot recently. So I mean, Sony I think is the one who should use this event. I mean, I think it's telling if they do use this event for something significant, because then that would probably say they're not going to have a showcase separate afterwards.
Yeah.
People think that they're going to have like another showcase this year, but
I'm really surprised that they don't have any kind of presence. I mean, because usually PlayStation has been there. I mean, when Jim Ryan was at the head, I mean, they focused so heavily on the Western markets. But now that Totoki-san is in charge, he wants to, get back to the domestic, market and, you know, uh, promote PlayStation more in Japan. So I think that's why they're going to have such a big presence at Tokyo Game Show rather than at Gamescom. But I'm surprised that they're just not going to be there. Yeah,
I got it. Okay.
yeah,
They're gonna tease the PS5 Pro, right?
yeah.
And I'm trying to think,
Live. Yeah.
what's a game to go with that, right? Well, because think about it, they can't do it at the Game Awards. That'll be too late if it's this year, right?
Yeah.
So this is it. This is the last, big sort of third. And Tokyo Game Show. Sorry, that's not going to be the event where they're going to announce it, right? They might show it more. So PS5 Pro teased, and also Horizon Zero Dawn remake with enhanced visuals for PS5 Pro.
No, we don't need this Horizon Zero Dawn remake.
Well, it's been it's been rumored. I think there's smoke because there's fire.
Yeah, no, I understand that. What I would love to see from Sony, something we've been told for years, Blue Point's original game, because they finished.
For sure.
They did Demon Souls remake, and that was released in 2020, and it's like, okay, we're almost at the end of 2024. Something like, can we get some kind of idea what you guys are doing?
That's
Can we add for Tokyo Game Show like the games we kind of hope to see as well?
Oh, we're going to talk about that later on.
Okay.
So in a future
I'll
episode,
wait.
closer when we get to the time of TGS. But yeah, I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn, remaster. Is it? I mean, we're getting to the point now where it's like a year after the game has been released, they're going to make a remaster right away. I mean, it's just, I just think the game is so beautiful. I mean, it doesn't need it. It just doesn't need it. Yeah.
They put out a PS5 patch for Zero Dawn. Like in the first year of the PS5, they did a patch for that. God of War, I think Last of Us 2, and Ghost of Tsushima.
There you go. There's the lead way into what I was about to say. Ghost of Tsushima 2 at opening night live. There you go. Who knows? I mean, yeah. But
it's gonna be The Last of Us Complete Edition remaster package.
And we're gonna get a trailer.
Right.
And we're gonna get a trailer of the Last of Us season 2 on HBO Max too. So
yeah.
I mean, they remastered Last of Us Part 2, right?
But it's earlier this year.
They did.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like I forgot that if that actually did happen or not. But
and it didn't need it.
Was like
it didn't need it.
A blur, like from your imagination. You thought, "No way, this is
right." Like, because it doesn't seem like it should ever have happened. But like, if that happened, like, why can't Horizon Zero Dawn? That's an older game. Like,
it doesn't need it. Yeah,
and it doesn't need it. But you got to think they're also heavily expanding this franchise, right? Like, they're betting on it. Now, the TV show was canceled because of problems, right? So with the showrunner.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, that doesn't mean you would cancel something you were already working on as far as games, right?
Yeah. On the Xbox side, maybe more information about Perfect Dark. I mean, maybe we'll get some more information.
Again, like they're not gonna do, like they're gonna save all that for. Then they're not going to be ready either. They showed what they're going to show, right?
Well, I mean, like on the showroom floor when they're talking to the developers and things like that, they might have some new information on it. But
I hope at least like indie is playable for like press, right? Because come on, like we gotta let people play that game. If it's coming out this year, like
Yeah, but it says like theater presentation and photo ops. I mean, so
yeah.
the press are probably only going to see another theater presentation
I
of
don't
some
know.
kind
I mean,
of
this isn't telling us what the press is
cinematic
going to get
thing.
access to, right?
Well, it all depends. They may have like shout out to a friend of the show, Lord Cognito. He may, because of his presence, they may take him back into a back room and hand him the controller and be like, "Here you go. Here's a section here. You've got an hour, X amount of time. Sit and
Yeah.
play it."
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, if that were to happen, but we shall see, man. So Gamescom, yeah, it's coming up. So we're really excited for it. Looking forward to all the announcements. Opening night live on the 20th. So we'll be bringing you the news from that, as well as all the other news that's coming from Gamescom in Cologne from the 21st through the 25th. So, yeah, looking forward to all of the news that comes out of that, and we'll be bringing that to you here on the Arena Productions. So, yeah, good stuff.
Do you think the games will smell good because they're out there in Cologne?
They better.
No.
They better. They better. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. So speaking of Xbox at Gamescom, they're going to have a big presence there, and for the month of August, they seem to have a big presence as well. So Game Pass Passageway Wave 1 for August. So some of these games might have already been announced. Apologies because we did not have an episode last week. But Carl, take it away. What do we have coming for Game Pass?
Well, it was just 3 games, and we have already out 2 of them. The first 2, Creatures of Ava, which is a new game, day 1 on Game Pass. Then we also have the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Crash. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Crash.
Cloud Console PC. They did it. They finally here's the first. Well, I would say the first I hope of many Activision Blizzard games. I know we had like Diablo. That was like, that sort of one off. They're like, yeah, we're doing it. See? And then, they kind of randomly dropped Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 at the end of last month, which was kind of odd. Like it was in the middle of their drops. Yeah. So hopefully this means, I want to say I'll be upset if they don't have an Activision Blizzard game going through the back catalog every drop. So I mean, like every 2 weeks, they should have one, right? It doesn't have to be anything big, but drop something. Like you got Crash Insane Trilogy, then give me Crash Team Racing next Tuesday, thing like that.
Crash Team Racing and Crash 4.
Right. Well, see, you can, if you want to space it out, you can do that the next 2 weeks, but yeah, I would like to see either 1 or 2, give me something older, something newer, whatever, do something like for the rest of the year, like just keep dropping that stuff. And then you got after that was the Mafia Definitive Edition on August 13th, that's pretty cool. I know that people like that game, right? It was a good one.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 3 was already
I just want to. I'm sorry, Carl. I just want to say, back in the day when I was streaming that game, yeah, I think there were some people that were having issues with the copyright claims when it came to the music that was being played on the radio in the cars. Yeah, so so for all of you content creators out there, yeah, you might want to double check when you play this game when it comes to the music and everything within the game. So go ahead, Carl.
There's one other worth mentioning, which is out already, which I think it was the end of last month. But so Valorant, right, dropped on console.
Yes.
But the reason it's attached to and mentioned with Game Pass, and it actually is like listed in Game Pass, even though it's free to play, is because they have that partnership with Riot. So when you play it on Game Pass, you have all the agents unlocked, right? Which is a big deal for this type of game. So it's almost like you get the full game on Game Pass, and when you play free to play, you get like the base version, which everything needs to be unlocked.
So now you just have to spend $40 to get your gun to be blue.
Something like that, yeah. At least you can use your in-game earned stuff on that instead of the unlocking the characters.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good stuff. Yeah, I think it was one of the episodes you weren't on, Carl. I was mentioning the Call of Duty that's on Game Pass now. And it's like it was if you wanted to download the full game, it's like 153 gigabytes, to download it. But I've heard that there are options where you can just download the campaign and play the campaign. So
yeah, it's because it's the I forgot what they call it, some sort of Call of Duty HQ whatever thing. It's
Call of Duty
it's
HQ.
Yeah,
They
it's
had
like
it
a
with
launcher.
Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, that's weird. I see a lot of people complaining about how all that works, the complexity of it.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of sucks, but that's what Activision did. Can't really just undo that immediately.
Yeah. All right, so let's move over to the PlayStation side. So Burley, we've got, of course, the essential drops. So, like I said, this has been out, but since we didn't have a show last week, want to throw out the information for everybody. So, the PlayStation Plus monthly games. What do we got?
So we got Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. So this is the one that goes through all 9 of the mainline Star Wars films.
Yeah.
And you've got all the good Lego goodness for both PS4 and PS5. You've also got Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach for PS4 and PS5.
That's a great game. Yeah.
I've not tried. I've not played it. And then you have Ender Lilies, Quietus of the Nights for PS4, which is your 2D action Metroid kind of RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
That one looks. That one I definitely want to try out. Like I've played Star Wars Skywalker Saga. It is if you love those Lego games, you love Star Wars, be prepared to just sit there, chill out, and have a fun time.
Nice, good stuff.
This was the month for me. I downloaded all the games. I already played Ender Lilies. It's great. It's like a really dark, like 2D platformer. The bosses are kind of tough. Like you're playing and then you have fixed save points. So
nice.
Until you find another bench, you're kind of screwed because if you die, like you go all the way back and you have to kind of keep grinding until you find safety. Like it's kind of rough, I would say. Nice. So like if you like hard games, I think Ender Lilies might be a great option for you, like Dark Souls.
Nice. Burley of Burleman Gaming, what do you think the odds are? Probably, in my opinion, 0%, but the odds are that at some point PlayStation Plus would drop Lego Horizons Day 1 onto the service.
That's a negative 5,000.
Negative 5,000. Okay, we're getting into the negative ranges. Okay,
I have a better chance of winning all the lotteries, one of the lotteries in the world.
Or being hit by lightning during this episode. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, pre-order numbers would have to be like abysmal, and then be like, "Fuck, let's put it in like extra, or level."
Well, like that. Even if the pre-order numbers were, let's just say it was bad on PlayStation, you forget it is on the Switch. It's gonna sell on the Switch. Like we've jokingly said, like I said on one of the episodes, like it'll probably sell better on the Switch than it will on the PlayStation.
But Concord, you think that's gonna be a
Concord
PS Plus Extra Day 1?
Not Day 1, but it will next year. It'll be on Extra or Premium. They will throw that because that game's not gonna last.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, all those competitive shooters like the finals. I mean, a game like that. I mean, it's they're just saturated and there's so much competition.
Marvel Rivals looks really cool.
Yeah,
I've seen people talking about it. I've seen some gameplay. I'm like, damn, the things that stood out to me was like Loki, like can create duplicates of himself that you can pop out and you can use them because when you attack, they attack, so you can use them to like sort of maneuver and like damage your enemies.
Trap.
Trap them by where they're positioned. And Doctor Strange can create a portal, right, to another spot on the map. And that creates like a link between those locations that you can physically see through actively and see what's going on there and shoot through as well. Like it's just connected those parts of the map. Like they're just naturally there together. And I'm like, that's incredibly awesome. I love that idea. So like they're doing some really cool things in that game. And it's going to be hard to stand out against that and Valorant now on console, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Valorant's big. I mean, out here in Japan, it's huge, but I mean, most people playing it are playing it on PC. But all right, now it's time for our new game releases. So each and every episode, we discuss our pick of the week for new game releases that are coming out on PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, PC, wherever you can play them. So for the week of August 12th through the 18th. So new game releases, you can go to releases.com. You can see in the ticker below here, www.releases.com. So first up this week, Burley, we've got your game. So what do we have? What is your pick of the week?
My pick of the week is Cult of the Lamb, the Unholy Alliance update. Summoned by blood and born in corruption, a wicked new ally can join the Holy Lamb in local co-op or remote play through Steam. Crusade through dungeons, slay heretics, build yourself a cult, and seek new powers together. But that's not all. If you find yourself alone in the vast dark plane of existence, fear not. There is much more in this update for you. So it is coming on August 12th to PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series. I actually just finished the main campaign of this game. It is a blast of a game, and like I can't wait for this update to come out because right now, because they're waiting for this update to come out, they've screwed the Twitch integration because there is a lot of fun, the Twitch integration, because you can have, or my chat, and when I'm in dungeons, they can give you like invincibility, extra health, or screw you.
Right.
And like when you come back to the little cult area, they can do stuff to be nice, or in the case that my chat has done, and Char here has participated in this, where they break all the beds for all my cult followers, and I got to spend 10 minutes freaking fixing everything.
I feel your pain. I only played it offline, and it's just, what a pain in the ass to take care of that cult as something breaks, someone gets sick, something is missing.
And having to do all those dungeons and manage it all.
Yeah, you're in the dungeon, all of a sudden, someone lost faith, and you're like, for fuck's sake, leave me alone.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so next up. Okay. So what do we have now? So Leah, you're up.
Okay, Hidden to Time 2 Discovery is a cozy hidden object game that has you searching for hidden objects in hand-drawn interactive landscapes. Ignite your imagination, unleash your inner artist with the editor, and share your masterpieces with the world. Dive into 3 captivating eras: Victorian elegance, noir mystery, and sci-fi wonder. Test your keen eye and unravel the mysteries hidden within each intricate scene. Can you uncover every secret the past and future holds? So this is basically like a fun Waldo, I guess. Just looking and trying to find everything that is hidden. I really enjoy these type of games. I found them really fun.
Yeah. You see that point and click there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. All right.
They can be very challenging. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, all the seasons there, it looks like. Yeah. So it's good stuff. Yeah. All righty. So next up is my pick. And it's not really a new game, but it's new to Xbox. So, and Xbox players are really getting a treat here. So, Kena Bridge of Spirits, a story-driven action-adventure combining exploration with a fast-paced combat. Untangle the past as Kana, a young spirit guide in search of the sacred mountain shrine. Help free the spirits trapped in a forgotten village with the help of the Rot, her adorable yet powerful spirit companions. I really, really love the story in this game. So yeah, the Rot, they're so cute, and yeah, I just love the adventure that Kana goes on, getting up to the mountain shrine. So yeah, this is something that is yeah, really, really, should have a sequel, and I hope it does come. But yeah, this is something that Xbox fans and Xbox players are going to really enjoy and have a treat playing. So I had a blast playing it. So yeah, Burley, I know you can attest to this as well. You played this.
Oh yeah, I love this. I loved this game, and this is not this. It may look all cutesy. This game is not easy.
No,
It's just you will if you're not at your best on some of these bosses, be prepared to restart boss fights a few times.
Exactly.
And just like it will reward you if you go out and exploring, and when you gain new abilities, backtracking and going through stuff, you will get some rewards. So it is worth doing it. The areas are breathtaking, and I love the whole thing of when you're cleaning up the darkness in the area, just how beautiful it looks.
Yes,
especially like because I played because this was a cross gen when this came out, PS4 and PS5.
Right.
You play this on a PS5 on a 4K TV.
Oh, beautiful. Oh yes. Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Easy to get lost.
Yeah, Carl, you got to play this, man. It's really good, and the story is heartwarming and everything as well. So it's good stuff.
Well, I'm open to people gifting me a copy. So,
all right. If we gift you a copy, will you play it?
I will play it for sure. If someone gifts me a copy, I would have to.
Let me get my phone ready. Xbox.
I know it looks. Nice. It's not that I wouldn't play this game because I think it looks like a good game. It looks really nice. It's just I don't have time. There's so many games I want to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Okay. So next up, yes. So Carl, you're up next.
Yeah, I picked Castaway coming on August 16th to PS4, Xbox Series XS, PC, Switch, PS5, Xbox One. Retrieve your weapons, face bosses to save your dog in a retro adventure focused on 3 dungeons. Finish the story mode to unlock the survivor mode, a 50-floor death tower. You'll enjoy classic mechanics, charming visual style, and an enchanting soundtrack. Yeah, I just like the way this looks like it just looks halfway between like NES and SNES.
Yeah.
And like an old Zelda game, you know.
I was gonna say like some of the blocks in there look exactly like from Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Like this is one I'm definitely like I have this on my wish list on Steam, and I'm probably going to pick this up and just play this the hell and back on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's really cool that it's multi-platform here. So
yeah.
Stuff.
Understand. I would also go and save my dog, so I guess it's #relatable.
Yeah, I'm curious like what that story is, because there's not a lot of description in there for this game, unlike some of the other ones which are like massive descriptions on releases.com, and this was just like, you save your dog, and then survivor mode.
Get your weapon and save your dog. What more do you need?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess you don't need any more inspiration than that, right? I mean, it's like John Wick. So.
Yeah. All right. So those are our picks of the week for the week of August 12th through the 18th. You can see all of the games that are releasing on all platforms for this coming week and for the rest of August and beyond. So www.releases.com. So go and check it out. All right. So next up, of course, the Arena Productions. We do video game news, and of course, this podcast, the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast, we do every week, but we also have entertainment and pop culture related content on our YouTube channel here. So it's time for our programming notes for this week. And this week, I honestly, because of the hardware situation I had with my PC and all. I wasn't able to do much content, but now that I'm back up and running, I was able to get the House of the Dragon season finale up, our recap and review of that. So I did that. Damon's shocking vision revealed. So if you have not seen the episode, please go to HBO and check it out before watching our video, because there are spoilers throughout this recap and review that I did. But yeah, so House of the Dragon season 2 is now in the books. So the long wait has arrived again for the next season, which probably will not come until the end of next year or 2026. So anyway, my recap and review of House of the Dragon, season 2, episode 8. So please go and check that out. So yeah, that's all for the programming notes for this week, because yeah, I was pretty much down and trying to get things back up and running again. So yeah. So.
I mean, you did the essential, because I heard it's a very controversial episode. Like, not a lot of people were happy, like something like that.
Well, I mean, let me just say this. I mean, the thing, I'm not spoiling anything, no spoilers, but I mean, George R.R. Martin and the producers came out and said this will be 4 seasons. So, this season sets up season 3, which will have lots of battles in it. The Dance of Dragons is going to happen in season 3 and into season 4. So, I mean, people have pretty much known that this wasn't going to be the final season, and that you probably weren't going to get many huge battles in this season. So, I mean, yeah, it's something that, was already said before by George R.R. Martin and the producers. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I watched it all, so I can say that what I think is going on is just that people are upset that doesn't feel like there's any conclusion to this season. Like, it really genuinely feels like you're watching episode 8 out of 10, and they just like, yeah, sorry, come back in 2 years and we'll give you more. The rest of it, like, it's that, and that sucks. That really does suck. But like, as far as the content of what's in this episode, it's a great episode. I mean, the show has been fantastic. Yeah. I mean, there's things you can nitpick here and there, but I think overall, like, I think it's been incredible. And I was just disappointed too when I got to the end, just for the fact that I'm like, I know it's the last episode of the season.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like you don't feel like it's the end of a season. It just feels like, well, there's more to come, and sorry, you just can't watch the next episode for a long, long time.
The producers, they have a difficult job, because they have to nitpick. And with George R.R. Martin, like, what parts of the books, can they throw into the series? And, there's so much information in the books that, you can't put everything into it. And there's characters also that aren't in this season that could have been put into this season. So, I mean, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made. I'm sure it's, the roundtable discussions that they have before they even go into pre-production. I mean, it's probably, really, really just, really, really difficult to come up with the decisions that they do. So.
I mean, it's definitely budget, right? Like, we know big battles coming, and obviously that's going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
And they did 8 episodes instead of 10, and inflation has driven the cost of everything up. So production of TV shows is also more expensive.
I mean, that's been the situation with a lot of TV series. I mean, what was it? Halo was like 8 episodes. Most of these series now are like The Boys was only 8 episodes. So yeah, I mean, that's like a trend that's been going on.
It's shrinkflation, basically.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely, shrinkflation does have a part to play, but HBO right now doesn't have much going on, and they've kind of said they're sticking to their Game of Thrones stuff to help keep them going. So
Yeah.
they could have done more this season with it. It's more of, if we keep it kind of the way we're at right now, we can extend the show a little longer. Gives us time to get other shows up and running. Like next year, we're getting the Duncan Egg show.
Right. Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
doing stuff like that to extend, to give them time.
Yeah, I do think it's fair to be critical of the season as a whole, not particularly just to like blame it all on this episode, but to say that like, you know, HBO, the producers, people writing the show, like you need to plan it so that it feels like there's some sort of conclusion at the end of the season. And like season 1 felt like that. You know, it was because at the end of season 1, it feels like, all right, you know, shit went down and now war is going to happen. And then season 2 is like, well, war didn't quite happen yet, but like, you know, if you watch the show, you understand why. Like, you know, specifically, one of the characters is trying not to cause war, right? So like, it makes sense. But again, you didn't feel like there was anything at the end of the season that was like, wow, I feel like, you know, that's sort of ending a chapter and starting a new one, right?
Right. Yeah. So. And of course, we also have the Rings of Power coming out, season 2 of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power on Amazon. That's coming out at the end of September. So Burley of Burlyman Gaming and Burley is an expert on the Tolkien novels, and so we're going to be discussing that in an episode of What's on Tap coming up about a week before the season drops. I think Burley, Carl, and Leah, the first 2, maybe 3 episodes are going to drop day 1. They haven't really...
I believe it's 2, but they're not 100% confirmed.
Right.
You never know with Amazon. Roll a d20, and just press your luck.
Exactly. But I will be doing recap and review episodes of each week, and Burley and I will be doing a What's on Tap about a week before. So stay tuned for that to do a preview of season 2 of the Rings of Power. So. Yeah, that's coming up. And of course, on the gaming side here, we've got Gamescom coming up. So, exciting announcements, hopefully. And, of course, all the stuff from Xbox and the other platforms. And, we'll be bringing you the news here on the podcast, as well. So, and we will also be doing at some point, probably next week, a Deadpool and Wolverine recap and review of the film for the Marvelous Marvel Discussion Arena playlist here on the Arena Productions. So stay tuned for that as well. So a lot of content here. So I'm back up and running again, so I can get all the stuff up and up and viewable for all of you. So we thank you all for your support, and thank you all for coming and watching our content here on the Arena Productions. So it's good stuff. So before we end the show, let's talk about the games that we'll be playing. So I'm going to probably, if I get some time, I mean, with all the stuff going on with my hardware stuff here, I'm getting everything uploaded again and stuff. But I might try to play the campaign, the Call of Duty campaign this coming week. I might download that on Game Pass and play it. Maybe. And on PlayStation, still playing Near Replicant. So still trying to get my way through that. So how about you guys? Leah, I'll start with you. What are you going to play this week?
I've been game hopping, so Ender Lily's Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Sea of Stars, Resident Evil 2. I might play a bit of the Lego Skywalk Saga, so whenever I feel like it, I'll just play a little bit and switch and go.
How are you coming along in Sea of Stars?
I'm almost done. I think something dramatic happened with Carl, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
you're a good way through the game. I just don't want to say how much you've got left, but you're well over halfway.
Nice.
Very good.
Carl, how about you? If you get a chance to play some games this week, what are you going to play?
Yeah, I'm just gonna cry about not being able to play video games, not having time. Just gonna sadly look at the games that are available to me and never be able to play them. But I literally have not played a video game, I think, since I was probably last on here. It's so sad. I hate it so much.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that time will pass. You'll get a chance to play at some point. So, yeah. Burley, how about you? What are you going to play?
Well, I'll be playing, and I know Chardog here in the chat's just going to light up. I'm going to be playing some of the Division 2 since I was gifted to that biome. And also, I'm thinking of starting up the Princess Peach Showtime game since I got that through the one Play Asia. So I'm thinking of starting that game up and checking that game out.
Nice. What do you think of the Division 2?
I enjoyed it. I had fun. I streamed it for a couple hours.
Yeah.
It's just getting used to, because like I've been playing a lot of different styles of games, so getting back used to that first-person shooter and the whole thing of like I've my two abilities I picked are to send the little drone to have that go around and just pick things, and then one of my strategies has been sneak around, throw the turret, and then send the drone in. So they're fighting that, and you can just go. They're all on the left, and you just go around the right and just go boom, 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 boom.
Right. Yeah, and those of you who have not played the Division, the first game is based in New York City. Second game is based in Washington, D.C. So yeah. And hopefully we'll get an announcement at some point, probably next year, for Division 3. That's got to be coming at some point, because Division 2 has been out now for years, at least 6 years now, I think. 5 years, yeah.
It's 5 years because it was 2019.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah. So
who knows? Maybe Gamescom you get Division 3.
You never know. You might. Yeah, that would be something from Ubisoft. I mean, they're really busy right now, of course, with Star Wars Outlaws. It's right around the corner, as well as Assassin's Creed Shadows. But I think Assassin's Creed Shadows that's gonna be big at Tokyo Game Show as well. So because it's based in Japan. So all right. So I want to thank you so much. I want to thank everybody. Thank everybody in the chat for coming. So thank you so much. And for those of you that watch in video on demand later on, thank you so much. Really appreciate all your support. And yes, we are back. Yes, my hardware is back up and running again. So yeah. So thank you so much, and appreciate all of your support. So thank you so much. And so it's time to end our show and have our outro with music with our indie recording artist spotlight. So each and every episode, we spotlight an indie recording music artist to support the indie music scene. So in this week's spotlight, it's on Tomas Herduk. So as a multi-instrumentalist, Tom has written and produced a wide range of musical styles for his own projects and the multimedia studios he collaborates with. So crossing genres, he has his own cinematic sound, from cool jazz to blockbuster tension. Every moment of his music is intense. From his album titled We Live the Drama, and the song is called Final Boss. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 181. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Leah the Hatless. We hope to catch you next week for our next episode. So each episode every week on Saturdays, 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time and 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So take care, everyone. Have a great week of gaming and enjoy the outro and this week's outro, Monster Hunter Wilds, so which will be shown and playable at Gamescom. So take care, everybody. Enjoy the outro and have a great week of gaming. Peace.